Thank you. We were talking before the break about Ann Coulter going to UC Berkeley, I guess in a month, about a month, and they're worried about a backlash. Concerned, they're fearing. This is a guaranteed event. I guarantee there will be violence, vandalism, and assaults that will happen on the part of the people that do not want Ann Coulter to speak, just for the fact that they don't want you to hear what she has to say. They have deemed they have deemed themselves protectors of your fragile sensibilities and perhaps your eardrums. And this is the left, like we would call it, the progressive, open left. So progressive that they literally will use violence to shut down somebody from speaking. We saw it happen with Milo at Berkeley. We saw it happen with Gavin McInnes at NYU. And again, Ann Coulter is more despised by the left than Milo. And you saw what happened there. So now they're fearing this. Will there be a police presence in enough numbers to shut down any violence that is trying to infringe on people's First Amendment rights? Will there be? Or will it be another dog and pony show where they stand around because they've been given that directive? Believe me, I know enough police officers to know that they would love to run in there and crack their heads open. But, you know, they have bosses and their bosses have bosses, and it goes all the way up to the lousy liberal power base over there in Berkeley. And they're always told to take it easy, observe, maybe try to keep some people apart. But when the violence happens, where are they? These people are going around smashing others' property, assaulting people, all in the name of anti-fascism. Again, when me and Alex were talking just earlier, the idea that they're anti-fascists, yet they're fascists, is something so 2017. And the idea, like Alex was saying, that he was being called anti-Semitic for pointing out that a literal Nazi is, FBI allegedly investigating mayor of Berkeley for inciting riot and ordering police to stand down. CNN doing damage control. This is happening. This is what's happening. They aren't letting the police do their jobs based on nothing but their political agenda. That can't happen. That is an offense that should be looked at and taken care of with extreme prejudice, I think. If you have an official like the mayor telling the police not to do their job because you don't agree with what the speaker was going to say, and the people that are trying to stop the person from speaking, you give them free rein to wreak havoc on the area. That's criminal. That's criminal. Should be put in jail for that. And meanwhile, we're going to see it happen again. I don't see. I look at this story, Ann Coulter to visit UC Berkeley, and I absolutely can predict the future. I know what's going to happen here. Violence, vandalism, and assaults. Because that's the new normal. The progressives have used violence for years. And now, in order to keep people from giving an opposing viewpoint, they will injure and destroy. I played a video clip the other day. I don't know if we have it, or I added it in today, I think, for my show later, Garrett. It's a guy, and he's filming people with his iPhone, and they don't even want him asking them questions. Do you have that one? I hope so. I think it was from the bunch of clips I sent you at about an hour ago. I'm not sure. If you find it, you do. If not, I mean, we've seen it all before. It's a gentleman walking amongst a big group of these progressive left butterflies. And he's asking them questions. He's got his phone, and they are just calling him a Nazi and a fascist for doing nothing more than asking questions. You're not even allowed to do that anymore without being tagged and labeled, because that's what they do. They don't have a valid argument. They don't have a valid argument. So you will be labeled something that they don't even want to look at or speak to. You disgust them. You're a racist. You're sexist. You're homophobic. They'll slap the tag on you. So now they don't have to argue with you. Now they don't have to listen to your valid points that you're making, because you're so repulsive, you don't even deserve to be conversed with. That's their tactic, because they can't debate what you're saying, because it's based on such common sense. Let's have strong borders. Racist. Oh, well, I just want to talk about it's illegal. I'm not arguing with you. I've already labeled you a racist. Oh, okay. I guess I'll leave. But this has been going on now for quite a while, and again escalates to the point of violence. Another wonderful thing that's happening here in this country, and it is, like, you can't just look at things on the surface. You got to look a little deeper and see what the motivation here is. Now, obviously, with these open borders that we have, and refugees pouring in from Middle Eastern war-torn nations that are very hard to vet, you have refugees coming in. So now, what should the people that want refugees coming in, this slow invasion of our nation, what could they possibly do? Well, they have to make you familiar with Islam. They have to make it safe, and they have to embrace it to show how wonderful it is. So women here in the United States, feminists especially, are using Islamic dress. We're covering up, covering their heads and faces as, get this, I'm not kidding you, as a salute to women and feminism. They're wearing Islamic garb. The most oppressive type of religion you could put on somebody is being an Islamic woman, and having to dress in that garb, cover up. I don't know how this translates to feminism. But it's to familiarize, to make it seem okay. So the people that bite on all of these Hollywood types that are they love telling us how we should live our lives from Hollywood, from Beverly Hills or Bel Air. They love telling us how we should be living our lives. So you get someone like Alicia Keys, showing how much of a proud woman she is, and how great this diversity is in our country, by actually dressing up in Islamic garb right there, yet showing she's got a little sass to her. She's going to poke a leg out there, a stem, a gam. She's going to poke it out from under there. Our strength is in our differences. Our power is in our diversity. We are so beautiful, all of us. When we see each other, we see ourselves. We're all the same. We're all the same. See, she's the same right there as a woman over in the Middle East, except, all right, for the fact that if you were in the Middle East and you poked your leg out, they'd probably chop it off. Yes. And as you lay bleeding in the street, perhaps you should be stoned to death. How they twist these things around with complete falsehood. It's fake. They're telling you, they're giving you such misinformation to get their false narrative across. Here you go. How about one of these gals pokes her leg out like Alicia Keys did, because we're all the same and everything's fine and diversity's wonderful? How about that? You would see what amounts to a religious police. They have that in many of these countries. Saudi Arabia is one. And here you go. There. There's feminism, right? Yeah, dress just like her and know what feminism is like. That man is literally hitting women with a stick to get them to capitulate. What were they doing? Was that a line to get into someplace? I don't even know what it was. But I'll tell you one thing, didn't look very feminist. I tell you what, try doing that here. And why is it embraced? You can't take something so anti-feminist as Islam and then just dress up here in the United States, pop your leg out and say, see, look, we're all the same. We're all great. Diversity, blah, blah. Yeah, you would be beaten and most likely killed. Gay people, too, have this weird, let in the refugee. They have a rainbow signs that'll just say, refugees welcome. We're all, Trump's a monster. United States, the land of the free. And not realizing, I think more than their intolerance for women is their intolerance for gays in Islam. It's not looked at like something that they want to accept. They are, again, literally throwing people off the rooftops because they're gay. So to use Islam as some type of representation of tolerance and of feminism and the gay community welcoming them over is so suicidal. It's a suicidal mentality. That yeah, there you go. There's some gruesome images of ISIS terrorists hurling a man from the rooftop for being gay. That's how they deal. Look at the pile of rocks waiting. I guess if he lands and he's still moving, you got to throw rocks at him because, it's the 21st century that we're living in. So that's what you want to do. Why can't we just look at it for what it is and understand there's grave intolerance there instead of getting on people and calling people intolerant that want to close our borders up, tighten them up, and look into who's coming over here, especially from these savage nations in the Middle East. Yet we're the problem for even suggesting it. It's a topsy-turvy world. It's crazy. And the political correctness that we just latch onto here is going to kill people. It has already. It has already. When you look at the instances of police officers being killed in the United States, gunned down for nothing more than being police officers because the media in their political correctness went with this narrative that police officers are shooting and killing young black men at random. That was then pumped up by the media. And now you have people that think they actually are in a war with the police and they kill police officers. They are absolutely causing people to die with their political correctness and lies to perpetuate a lot of these stories. The TSA is out of their minds. I believe in profiling. It has been used successfully in many law enforcement agencies. The first thing they'll do when they're trying to find a killer, especially a serial killer, a spree killer, is profile. You want to narrow down. Here's what profiling does. It narrows down your pool of people you have to look into. Why look at a group of 1,000 people if by profiling I can narrow it down to 10 people? It just makes perfect sense. Profiling has become a nasty word, akin to a racial slur or a homophobic epithet or a misogynistic slur. It's just become something that's terrible, profiling. It's a tool. It's a tool that is used to narrow down a group of people that you need to look into. The TSA knows nothing of this. When we travel, we like to think we're safe. Profiling would help. They, in a stunning video, you see a TSA agent pawing over a 13-year-old boy who is wearing shorts and a T-shirt, not even shoes. What could he possibly be hiding that could endanger the flight he is ready to get on? Yet time, energies, resources are being wasted searching this poor kid who I am calling it molestation, by the way. He is being molested in front of a room full of people. Look at this. For what? This kid wouldn't make the 1,000th cut in profiling who is dangerous when you're traveling. You would, if you had 1,000 people, he would be the first person you shove out of the room. If you had 10,000 people, he'd be the first person you shove out of the room. He's not who we're looking for. Why waste the time? Why traumatize a kid by having some old TSA agent pawing over him like that? It's a waste of time. It does nothing to make us safe, and it's based on nothing but political correctness and appeasing groups that are responsible for terrorism, are responsible for death and destruction here in this country and overseas. And we can't look specifically at those people based on where they're from. Yes, nationality. Just as when they profile a serial killer, it's usually a white guy. So we're getting a white male in his between 30s and 50, and he's probably from this area. But there's a whole profile that's worked up. Well, let's look at terrorists. Let's look at who has been trying to take down airplanes, who has been running people over with trucks, machine gunning people, stabbing people. Who's been doing the terrorism in the world for the past 40 years? It's radical Islamic terrorists. Does that kid really fit that bill? Does that poor molested child fit the bill? Do you feel safer because that TSA agent spent 2 full minutes pawing through that kid's clothing? It is. It's the Twilight Zone. A bizarre place. Pitiful portrait of a child molested at the TSA counter. Submitted your approval. Complete insanity. Yes. Welcome back. Super combo. Yes, get Survival Shield X2. Nascent. Is that Nascent? Iodine. Biotrue Selenium for 30% off at InfoWarsStore.com. For a limited time, we're giving you both the Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine and Biotrue Selenium for a massive 30% off when you visit InfoWarsStore.com. For a limited time, these two formulas are perfect super combo for supporting a healthy thyroid and supercharging your health. Selenium helps support the immune system, DNA production, thyroid health, and eyesight. True Iodine helps support healthy hormone levels and healthy metabolism, and so much more. Even the CDC states that iodine deficiency is one of the 4 major deficiency diseases in this great world of ours. Help fund InfoWars in the fight against the globalists and get great products that are really changing lives out there. Get Survival Shield X2, Nascent Iodine. Yes, and Biotrue Selenium. 30% off both individually or together at InfoWarsStore.com. My God, there's so many good things out there I don't know about. Learn about them right here at InfoWars. I always love chit-chatting about Hollywood and celebrities when we talk about the war that's going on out there. And the latest moronic statement from, of course, it's the same pool of suspects. Michael Moore. His latest, The Sky is Falling, is Michael Moore says Trump will cause extinction of humans. This man is an idiot. Donald Trump will be responsible for the extinction of the human race, at least according to documentary filmmaker Michael Moore. When are we going to stop calling him that? Documentary filmmaker. He makes fantasy films. Historians in the near future will mark today, March 28th, 2017, as the day the extinction of human life began on Earth. First of all, fat man. The second, whatever crawled out of the primordial ooze of the Earth and became humans was the day the clock started ticking on human extinction. At some point, we're going away. At some point, we will be gone. Whether Donald Trump signing an order taking away some of these EPA protections, I think it's debatable whether that's going to be the reason. We do a great job here in this country of making things, building factories, and a nice balance of keeping the environment clean while we do that. We're very innovative. We don't just set up factories and blast smoke like it's 1905 out the top of these factories. They're clean. Coal is clean burning these days. It's amazing. But environmentalists don't want you to know that or don't want you to believe that. So there's a misinformation campaign that goes on, and it costs America jobs, and it costs us power in the world. And Donald Trump said we're not going to be hostages to a lot of these regulations that were put in place erroneously by environmentalists. So bravo. There he is holding up another executive order that will soon become a meme. I'm sure it'll be Curious George in there or something will be made. But bravo. And Michael Moore, grab a salad. What do you want from me? Anthony Cumia in for Infowars.com. I want to thank Alex Jones, of course, for this wonderful opportunity. Keep supporting all of us here on the alternative media. Thank you.